Most of us grow up with people telling us there are things that we cannot do or we're not good at. Maybe you grew up with a teacher who told you every single day that you weren't good enough, that you were stupid, that you were bad at something. Maybe you've had bosses or family members tell you day after day after day that you're not good enough, that you will never cut it, that you will always be a failure. We've talked about this before on the Authority Journey podcast, and it is not true. Your past does not determine your future. You do. So today, we are going to talk about belief and responsibility. Welcome to the Authority Journey podcast. Achieving your most audacious goals doesn't happen by accident. Explore the Authority Journey and what it takes to influence, lead, and succeed. My name is Catherine Aragon, and I am your host today for Belief and Responsibility. When I was in high school, preparing, I was going to study English no matter what, because I just absolutely loved literature and the wisdom that I found in books. And it was in high school that I ran across this quote: "The child is parent to the man." Now, forget the fact that it's man, just people. The child is parent to the adult person. Maybe it's less poetic, but I like it. I think about that and light bulbs start going off. It's like electric currents going through my brain because it is so true. How many times do you just get taken back to the little girl or the little boy you used to be, and it's as if you are looking up at this big person or this big obstacle and thinking, who am I to accomplish this? Who am I to overcome? Because that little child felt so small and incapable of overcoming the big things. We needed someone to hold our hand. We needed someone to help us do this big thing. The child is parent to the man. One of the biggest blocks to success is that inner child reminding us that we are not enough, that we can't do it alone. Where does that come from? Well, from the time that we were very young, we're sponges. We're absorbing all the words and the attitudes around us. Sometimes those attitudes, it's attitudes, it's not words. Sometimes it's the way constantly you are reminded that you can't do something alone. I'm watching a series on Queen Victoria, and when she was a child, they didn't even let her go down the stairs by herself. Now you think about that. Every single day, someone has to hold your hand and walk down the steps with you. And of course, they were probably thinking, we don't want anything to happen to her. She's going to be the queen someday. But all she's absorbing is this unspoken message that you are incapable of handling a set of stairs all by yourself. If you fell, you might die. What is that telling her? It's telling her that she is very weak and fragile and incapable. So the first time she comes to a set of stairs all by herself and there's no one else to hold her hand, she has to muster a lot of courage to do this thing by herself that other people don't even think about. Notice how that can be done without words. Just the fact that someone always swoops in to rescue you and to hold your hand means they must believe you are incapable. And we absorb that. And we make it our own truth. There's also a mindset difference. Studies have found that some people have a fixed mindset, others have a growth mindset. And that mindset actually, thankfully, can change. But those who have a fixed mindset, which perhaps was taught to them, or perhaps they just absorbed it, they believe that if they are not able to do something by themselves, let's say I'm not able to take the stairs by myself because I've been told inadvertently that I might die if I take the stairs by myself. Their mindset is, if I fail, that's it. I am incapable of growing. I am incapable of fixing this failure. Therefore, I may as well not even try. Now, Only you can explore if that's how you're approaching things. Because really what you need is this growth mindset. The growth mindset is, they've never let me take these stairs by myself, but you know what? I know I can do it. I mean, there is a handrail I can hold on to, and I'm strong enough, my legs are strong enough, I don't need to hold on to anything. Look, Ma, no hands, I'm doing the stairs. That's the kind of thing that we're looking for. In order to overcome that inner child, we have to be this kind of rebellious teenager. Look, Mom, no hands. I can do this. I've got this. Now, when we have this mindset that there are things that we cannot do, we can stand on the very edge of success, on the very edge of achievement, on the very edge of the goal that we have wanted our entire lives, and we will just stall out and we'll be paralyzed. For years, I wanted to write books, and I did. In my 20s, I tried to write a fiction story. It was a children's story. I actually, to this day, I love the story. But I didn't really have any training or mentorship to help me write fiction. I was a great reader of fiction, but I think what came of that was me thinking like angels were singing around the stories I read. Like they were something so elevated that I was incapable of achieving that. So I didn't understand the process of writing at that time, that every great creative work starts messy and ugly. So when I was in that messy, ugly stage, I thought I was a failure. And I wouldn't say I really thought I was a failure, because I did push through, but I did get to a point where I realized, shoot, this isn't working. There's something missing, and I don't know what it is. Early on, I thought maybe I was missing life experience. And so I thought, well, I'll come back to writing when I'm older, because I just need more life experience. That will help me out. Yeah, right. Because I got to about 40, and I realized, you know what? I'm never going to do this if I don't just do it. Whether I feel confident or not, I will regret never trying this again. And at that point, I had to decide, okay, how badly am I willing to step into this? Because honestly, by that point, it was fear of failure keeping me back. If I have held this dream that with the angels singing and there, a glowy light all around this nice, beautiful dream of me being an author, if I fail at that, what does that mean for my life? How devastated will I be that I've hung on to this dream my whole life? If I fail, who am I? It just seemed like this big, like the Grand Canyon. I'm standing on the edge of it, and now I'm afraid, because if I fail, it means something. This would be hard to overcome. And what I decided on that day, this one day, where I was thinking about this, and I was realizing I have invested so much in everybody else's dreams. I help other people reach their dreams, and I'm stalled out on my own dream because I'm terrified of finding out that I might be a failure. Now, fortunately, I don't have a fixed mindset, and at that point, I just needed to make a decision. That decision was, am I willing to risk that? Am I willing to move forward no matter what? I want this dream, and even if it means I fail, I need to try, because I will never forgive myself if I don't try. That's what we need to take responsibility for. Today's episode, I've titled Belief and Responsibility for a big reason. The first half of moving forward and achieving whatever it is you've set for yourself is belief. You have to let go of those childhood beliefs that maybe you are not enough. Maybe you aren't capable. Because yes, you are. You are capable of almost anything you set your mind to. But you also have to take responsibility. There will be work required of you. There will be effort. And you might fail. But are you willing to dust yourself off and try again? Because that's what it takes. Nobody achieves success on their very first try. Even those people who look like overnight successes have done things to lay a foundation for that overnight success. And if you haven't even laid the foundation, you're not going to have immediate success. You may have natural talent. You may have abilities that other people, you may be a savant that, you can do things other people can't do. We've seen stories, we get really excited over watching, the chess player show, where she's obviously a natural. But guess what? She had to fail a few times too. She had to go through training. We all have to do this. And it will look like failure before you get to success. It will look messy and ugly before it starts looking pretty and beautiful like you have imagined. Your dream is probably possible. Now, if my dream were to be an opera singer, that's probably not possible because I don't have the voice for it. But in most cases, whatever dream you've set yourself, you've set that dream because there's an inkling of something in you that believes you can do it. That's what I'm talking about. If it's a realistic dream, even if it's lofty, even if it's like, just shooting for the moon. Shoot for the moon. What have you got to lose? Just an arrow. If you shoot for the moon and the arrow falls short, you still went further than you would have if you hadn't shot at all. That's what we need to realize. We have a responsibility for reaching our dreams. There is nobody else who can do that for you. It will never be handed to you on a silver platter. You've got to put in the work. You've got to put in the effort. You've got to take responsibility for success or failure. And failure, you've heard me say this before, failure is not failure. Failure is learning. So with me, let's go back to my fiction endeavor. I still have that manuscript sitting in a closet somewhere. One day maybe I'll go back to it, or maybe one day I'll come up with a better story. Maybe the story wasn't good enough. Maybe it wasn't me. You see what I'm saying? I do know that at that time I didn't know enough. So I had lack of knowledge. I had lack of experience with the entire creative process. I'm a much more mature artist now than I was at that time. I understand the writing process. So I have a much better shot at succeeding now than I did back then. So the fact that that story was kind of a failure doesn't mean it's a total failure. It doesn't mean I'm a failure. And it doesn't even mean that I'm not good at fiction. I might be able to be good at it, but I'm not at the moment, and that's okay. Because along the way, what I decided to do was take responsibility for what I really wanted. And I had to sit down and analyze, what do I really want? Do I want to be a fiction writer, do or die? Or could I be happy if I simply made my living as a writer? Is that ultimately what I want? Sometimes us not reaching our dreams, our goals, is because our vision is not clear enough, or it's the wrong vision. And when I say the wrong vision, I simply mean maybe you're shooting for something that really isn't your strength, and if you would just shift it just a few degrees, you could actually hit it and exceed and excel because you're just aiming a little off target. Refine your aim, figure out what you really want. Keep laddering down, keep asking what you really want until you figure out, and then make that your goal. So, first of all, don't wait for someone to give you success. Take responsibility for it. Now, let's go back to that, the child is parent to the man. Because once you make this decision to move forward, now you've got to deal with that again, if you haven't already. If negative words have been spoken over you and people have told you, oh, you're not good enough in some way, you can take responsibility for undoing that. You can speak those positive words over yourself. Oh, yes, I can. I'm good at writing. Let's say that. Oh, I can write fiction. Whether I've done it or not, I know I can. I know I can figure it out. I know that right now I don't have time for it. So that is still in the future, but it's less of an urgent need because why? Because I adjusted the my goal. I adjusted my aim and decided, you know what, it doesn't have to be fiction. What I want is to be a successful writer, which I am now. Now, I would still love to write a great story, but it's okay. I will be okay if I die without having written a fiction story. That's what I'm talking about. You can undo the negative words spoken over you. You can adjust your aim to make sure that you are going where you want to go, that you're hitting what the ultimate goal is, not what maybe the initial goal was. Use affirmations. Speak positive things over yourself. Deal with your own negative energy. Sometimes we have anger and frustration built up in us so much, we can't move forward until we deal with that. You don't have to believe in the woo-woo stuff, but this is true. If you are angry, you're not going to be able to be creative. If you're frustrated, it's much harder to do creative work. So deal with that. Whatever you need to do to deal with that and get it outside of yourself, then put in that work. Then protect your energy. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend time with. So elevate who you spend time with. Elevate the energy you allow into your home, for instance. If there are negative people in your life, you know what? It doesn't matter who they are. If they are harmful to you and your energy, I encourage you to rethink those relationships. You maybe need to get them out of your life so you don't hear all that negativity anymore. Because you're trying, remember, to get rid of the negative energy. You're trying to rebuild the positive, your own belief in yourself. And if you're constantly reminded that other people don't believe in you, you may have trouble with that. Those are hard words, but sometimes they're necessary, and only you can decide what's right for you. So do some thinking about that and exploring to see what can help you unlock your own potential. That's really what this is about. Do you believe in your own potential? If you've taken responsibility for what you want to achieve, now you have to create an environment where you can actually step into it. You have to unlock your potential. The truth is you are enough, just like you are. All those negative words that have been spoken over you are probably not true. But you have to believe that. That comes from inside. Now, all of these are just exercises, you can do whatever works for you. But you need to be consistent in them. This isn't something that you do one day and then, oh good, my life is perfect. Because you know this. It's never going to be perfect. Another person will walk into your life and say something negative over you. So you need to have these habits in place of every single day saying nice things to yourself, of cleaning out your relationships. If you are constantly on Facebook and all you see is negativity, maybe you don't have to unfriend them, but you can mute those people so you don't see their stuff. You need to keep a positive energy around you and your work so you can achieve your biggest goals. Achievement, overcoming, is about finding the positive so you can step into it. None of us wants to step into a cold, dank, dangerous space. And all that negativity and all that disbelief creates that negative space where you can't do your best work because you're always looking over your shoulder. You need to create an environment that's conducive to success. That means it needs to be positive. You need a lot of positivity, and you need to believe in what you're doing and in your ability to do it. You also need to take responsibility for your own success. But to do that, you have to have habits that give you the groundwork for that. So, create positivity. Speak affirmations over yourself. Deal with that negative energy and protect your energy moving forward. Keep it positive so you can believe in yourself and your work. That's how you're going to overcome. That's how I stayed positive when I was in bed for all those years. I didn't let anyone in my room who was going to make rude comments to me. And believe it or not, people did. So you take responsibility for that. You create the foundation for your own success, nobody else. You create the environment where you can succeed. Nobody else. It's all on you. So you only have to believe in yourself enough to be willing to invest in that way. But I promise you, you are enough. You can do it. You just have to believe it. That's it for today. If you liked today's message and you want to hear more encouraging things to help you overcome and succeed and progress on your authority journey, please subscribe. I would love to have you here. And if you want to learn more about me, visit KatherineAragon.com. You'll learn all about me and see how I can help you perhaps put together your own authority journey. In the meantime, stay awesome.